I've been playing myself some Cult of the Lamb,
Yeah.
baby. And let me tell you what. It's a pretty damn good game, that Cult of the Lamb right there. I like that game a lot. It's a good one. I like it.
Did you stutter over your words and then you're like, well,
Yeah, and then I rolled with it.
Yeah,
Did you like that?
Yeah, I did like that. That was
Cult of
good.
the Lamb, half sort of fit like village building sim and half dungeon crawling roguelite. It's pretty solid. So you the game starts and there's like these 4, I forget what they're called, bishops. They're basically gods who condemn you to death. You are the last lamb on Earth, and they're condemning you to death. And then when they do that, you go on to the afterlife, and this like demon god enlists you into his service. He's been chained by the 4 gods, and you're gonna go kill the gods and free them with his help. Mm-hmm. And then from there, you start building yourself a cult, and you start freeing different forest animals and stuff, like a horse or a dog or a deer and stuff like that. And you enlist them into your cult, and you recruit them, and you can fully customize each and every cultist when you get them. You can give them new names, new appearances, colors, all of that. All of that's cute and fun, but they're cultists. Mm-hmm. They're not your friends. They're your fodder.
Yeah.
Like, you are not growing a village. Like, you're using them.
Yeah.
Like, they mean nothing to you. So you're very quickly like discarding them. I see myself very quickly, like, I'm naming every single one. My first cultist was you.
Yep.
Then I got Phil in there. I got my buddy Glenn. I got my girlfriend in there. I got a Twitch follower, Mr. Einkoon. Shout out Mr. Einkoon. I threw you in there.
I'm guessing you're not going to kill off your girlfriend, are you?
No, I'm gonna let her die from old age or sickness or something.
Oh, they die. They can die from that.
Yeah, they got ages and they can grow old and die. You're like sitting in the upper 20s now. I got you at 20. They're growing. They're aging fast too.
Okay.
It's only been like I've put maybe like 6 hours into the game, so I'm starting to see some of those deeper systems, but I haven't unlocked everything.
Yeah. Cute art style.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. The art style is really, really cute, really fantastic. I love all the facial animations on the lamb that you see when he attacks and when he runs around. He gets like real mean face and stuff. The combat, I think, is solid. Mm-hmm. It's not super deep.
Yeah.
It's roll, attack, roll, attack, roll, attack. And then from there, you can get things like... And then you have they call them curses. It's basically like a cast where you'll shoot out like a fireball or like a series of like little tiny seeking projectiles, or like you'll throw out some tentacles that'll create like sort of wave damage, or you can do like an ink splat that does like a pool of acid or something like that. And then from there it doesn't get too much more complicated and stuff. So far, all in the subsystems they get a little more complicated. Like I've unlocked weapons that on every kill will restore some health.
Okay.
Or something like that, and it'll go forth. But for the most part, you're looking at damage and then speed of attack, and that's about it. And obviously, the heavier weapons, like the axe that I was using, attacks slower, but does a whole bunch more damage. Right now, I'm using the sword on screen. Mm-hmm. That's your middle way weapon. And then there's like a dagger that does the least amount of damage, but you can get a bunch of hits in real quick.
Very basic in that regard as well.
Yeah.
Weapons.
All 3, to my experience, have value. Mm-hmm. It's not like, oh, I don't like using the axe, so I'm not going to use the axe. No, the axe puts in work.
Yeah.
It's just, you got to time it out right here. And then as you're rolling through the sort of the world in your search for one of the gods, you'll come across these mini bosses. Yeah. Which like when you beat a mini boss, you get it, or when you beat a boss, you get a cultist out of it. Mm-hmm. Like you convert them. And then you're going to like the door where the boss is behind, and then that door is locked, and you have to run through the area a couple of times before you can fight the boss. Uh-huh. It was 3 times. So you had to fight 3 mini bosses, and then you get to the end and be like, I gotta go back. You go back, and then on the 4th time, you unlocked the boss, so you got that. So this is the one who waits right here. He's my demon lord, and it's so very quick and obvious to me that like, oh, this guy's either gonna betray me or I'm gonna betray him right at the end of the game, and he's the final boss, and then I'm gonna become the demon lord.
Yeah, as you should.
And then you're sort of like just growing in power with every time. As you go out, you're collecting resources of food and wood and stone and stuff like that to bring back to your camp, and coins to buy things, and you're bringing it back to your camp, and building out different structures and buildings and things to help increase your village build here. So as we continue in here, I'll show you that. So right here on the UI, you'll see up at the top left. This is actually a bad example of it. So let me see if it's later in the thing. Yeah. Okay. Come on. There we go. So here in the top left, it's your health, your coins, and then it shows you how many followers you have. This is earlier in the game. I only have 3 right now. I think I'm in double digits now, like 10 or 11 or something like that. And then they're judged based off of their faith, how strong do they believe in you, and their hunger, because they get hungry. You got to keep them fed, and you got to keep them sheltered and happy.
Yeah.
As you feed them, they got to poop. They're pooping everywhere. So much poop. And you got to run around, you got to clean it up, because if you let it go, their faith lowers, because it's like, oh, poop, that's gross. And then they'll get sick, you know, because there's poop everywhere. So you got to clean up the poop. I know later on there's an outhouse that you can get, so like all the poop will be centralized. And then here's like a little bit. So this is when I made Phil.
Oh yeah.
So here we go. So we start here. I believe Phil was one of the mini bosses that I converted in here. Yeah, he was a mini boss. So yeah, I renamed him. I colored him blue, and then you can really get kind of like not super granular. Like you're basically just changing their heads. But there's a whole bunch of different options and stuff: horses and dogs and bats and different creatures and so forth like that. Many of which I have not yet unlocked, but I can unlock later, and I've discovered different elements of the game to help you sort of unlock. And there's like just a bunch of different color variants and stuff like that. And you can give them like a couple of tattoos. Every cultist comes with traits. I've discovered 2 to 3 per cultist is usually about the norm. These could be positive traits or negative traits. So like Phil here, every time I recruit a follower, he gains 10 faith. There's a opposite version of this where every time I recruit a follower, they're skeptical. So every time I recruit a follower, they lose 10 faith because they're like, I don't know about this guy right here, man. Like, we're just inviting anybody in here and so forth. And then there's a bunch of stuff like that. Like, some of them will build slower. Some of them will build faster. If they're not building anything, they're praying to a statue of you to build up, because their faith is their currency. So they're building up faith for you. And some will build that faster than others, and so on and so forth. It's just the stat-based things for each individual guy. So then you tell them what to do. They can either like go mine for resources, or build structures, or you can tell them to go to sleep. If they're working too hard, be like, hey, go take a nap. You can tell them to go eat and be like, hey man, you're hungry. I made berries. I made a berry salad. Go eat the berry salad. You can later on you start being able to like bless them to like increase their faith, and then they'll give you you can once a day ask them for coins as a what is it called in church when you give the church money? You know what I'm talking about.
I know, yeah.
Anyway, so it's like that. And then what is this? Here I'm upgrading my shrine, so my shrine gets bigger, and they can, more people can pray to it, and so on and so forth. So wow, this is really early. I've done so much more since then. So there you and Phil just kind of building my thing now. So yeah, you're in just this woodland area, and you got to clear it all out and start building up your cult, your little village. This is probably my favorite part of the game. Is the sim side, is the cult building and stuff. Followers will come to you with quests, little mini quests, and be like, hey man, there's not really that many places to sleep. Can we build maybe a bed or 2 for us to sleep in? Oh yeah, sure. Jordan, yeah, I'll do that for you. Or Phil came up and he's like, hey man, let's play prank on Connor. Let's have him eat poop. Wow. So then I put poop in a bowl and I fed it to you, and you ate poop.
Did I like it?
No, you were real upset.
Why do I still like you? I wouldn't like that.
Connor, you're my main guy. You're my big man.
But once you feed me shit, I'm not gonna be happy.
I fed you shit and you didn't like it. You didn't like it.
Yeah, I don't like this. I think I don't like it.
Yeah, and then there's different things. Like once a day, you can perform a sermon to kind of increases everybody's faith across the board, and it gives you like you can start doing doctrines and stuff so that everybody starts getting new and better traits and so forth. And then, just as you keep going, you're just building out and you're, increasing all these people and you're getting them to do stuff. I do like how the villagers will always find something to do.
Okay, good.
They're not going to just sit around and do nothing. Like they're either praying or they're clearing out some woods or they won't clean their own poop, which is pissing me off. Like they're tending to the garden, or they're always doing something. They're not just gonna sit around and do nothing. There are things that only you as the cult leader do. So like the beds fall apart, and you have to repair the beds, and that costs resources. So like, but you are physically the one doing it. Anything that costs resources, you have to do yourself.
Okay.
And then I do know later on down the line, I've seen it in the upgrade trees. I could start bringing followers out in the field with me. I can send them on missions, very like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood style, where you sent out your assassins out to do quests and they come back with resources. I do know I've only sacrificed one cultist so far.
Okay.
And doing that gave me a lot of resources.
Oh, okay.
So you're taking advantage. They're flock.
Yeah.
They're not friends. They're fodder. They're cattle. That's a better word than fodder. So like, I sacrificed, my buddy Glenn. Sorry, Glenn, but all of your traits sucked. So literally all three of them were negatives. And I was like, all right, well, when I have to sacrifice, he's the first one up. And sure enough, as soon as the game was like, hey, sacrifice a follower, I was like,
you're still the worst
absolutely.
one.
Goodbye, Glenn. Sorry, buddy.
And can you get rid of negative traits, or are they there? Positive ones too.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
But I just haven't discovered that yet. Cultists will die. Bodies will just drop, from starvation or sickness or whatever. Hasn't happened to me yet, but I'm sure it will. I've already. You've got to build grave plots for them because you got to get rid of the bodies.
Yep.
I do know through conversation online that you can get your followers to eat the dead, in which they will start gaining a taste for flesh and stuff, and like that's what they'll really be into and so forth. So I know that happens, and I know like the cultists interact with each other. Like they'll have good they'll have like little positive interactions. They'll be like, hey man, what's up? And so I do know when they start turning cannibal, I'm sure if people start getting sick or hungry and start like about to die over, they might be like,
you're almost dead there.
It's coming. We gonna eat good tonight, you motherfucker.
We're not gonna kill you, but when you die,
but we'll eat your ass,
because you're just gonna be lying around in the dirt otherwise.
Yeah. And then I don't think it's in this footage, but these are not the only two locations in the game. There's multiple locations.
Oh, okay.
Let me see if it's in this footage. I don't think it is. It doesn't look like it is. No. So there's basically like your main guy who like plays as the tutorial. Let me see. Where is he?
Just had him.
Where is he? This guy right here.
Yeah.
Is he gonna talk to me? Nope. All right, hold on. I'll find him. His name's Ratau. Ratau is like this old hermit who like, believes in the one who waits prior to you or so forth. He just lives out in the mountains, and you can go visit him in his shack where he prays to a shrine. So you can get any shrines, you can get your faith off of those, or your little currencies off of those. And then you can play. There's a dice game, like a little mini dice game that you can play with people. Ratau is the first introduction to that, where you play that. It's okay. It's like an okay little mini game or something. There's a trophy to beat everybody you can beat with it, and I was like, I might do it, but it's kind of honestly, I found it a little annoying. So like as soon as I beat him, I was like, never doing that again. So I don't know. We'll see. If I do that. So it's a fine little mini game. It's whatever.
By the way, it's called a tithe, which you give to a church.
A tithe. Yeah. Thank you. Nice. And then like I found like a little fishing village. And there's systems in that village that I'm still exploring and figuring it out. Like there's a lighthouse there that's bringing people in, so I think I can go there every once in a while, pick up some new followers from distant lands or whatever. And then there's like little shops and stuff out there as well, where I can buy different attributes and different traits and stuff for my own character, like get an upgrade for like a permanent heart, or start every crusade, that's what they call when you go into the
Yep.
roguelite elements. Start every crusade with a cursed heart, and a cursed heart it's a heart, but every time you get hit, the enemy gets hit too.
Okay.
Every heart is worth 2 hit points. And then you can get like half hearts and so forth. And then, yeah, man, there's a lot of upgrade trees. There's a lot of systems, lots of systems. And you know me, Connor.
You like
I like me some good systems. I like me some good systems. So there's a lot, and they're doling them out to you at a pretty decent pace. It could maybe speed it up a little bit, but I'm enjoying it so far.
Good.
Day-night cycle, don't be distracted. Keep up on your village upkeep. Don't let them be pooping everywhere. Don't let them be starving. You gotta cook the meals.
And does that
so
take
on and
time? Like a day? It takes like the daytime to do your, cleaning of
the time
place,
is passing no matter what.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
it's
just
on
gotta do
it's on
quick.
timers. It's
Okay.
on timers.
That makes more sense.
It feels like the day does pass faster when you're doing stuff. So like when you're dungeon crawling, it does feel like the day is going faster. When you're, doing things around the camp and so forth, like activities, as opposed to just kind of standing around. I will say I found one game-breaking bug. And I looked online, and it seems to be a pretty common thing where when they give you the objective to complete a ritual, which is like a little like event thing that we can all do to raise faith or get resources and something like that. So like one of the first ritual they give you is to throw a bonfire. And everybody, gathers around a bonfire and dances, and it gets everybody's morale up and stuff like that. I did that as soon as I could, but then the quest came after that. And then I had to wait on a cooldown. Rituals are on cooldowns. You can't do them all the time. And some of them cost resources as well. And so I did my little bonfire. That one's on a really long cooldown. You can't do that very quickly. And then I did a few more things. Maybe did a run through the dark wood again. And then I came back and I got trapped in my village, and I couldn't leave the village.
Oh, okay.
And going out and doing your runs is like your main way to get resources. Like there's stuff in the village itself that you can chop down, like trees and so forth. But I just got stuck, and I couldn't build anything, and I couldn't. I was sitting there literally waiting for the ritual to reset, and it was just stuck. And I was reading everyone online, or the article I read online was like, hey, try and complete a quest. Sometimes that opens it up. And luckily, I went a certain path that unlocked a new ritual. So I was able to throw a feast for my people, and that completed the quest, and it allowed me to leave.
Yeah.
But nothing I was doing was working. I couldn't close the game and reload. Like everyone was saying, hey man, if it doesn't work and you are stuck, you have to start your game over.
Damn, that's bad. Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, I really don't want to do that, because I wasn't deep. I was only a couple of hours in, but it would have been very annoying to have to redo all of that work. And so I'm glad that luckily it worked. I threw the ritual and everything went fine for me, but like fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Not everything is used. Like some things, like I just unlocked a fountain to decoration, and one of the quests I got was like, hey man, it's kind of boring around here. Can we get like something cool to look at? And they were like, hey, and then the quest was, hey man, build 3 decorations. So I built a couple of fountains and something else, and so forth. So there is like some like customization and some decoration to really make your village your own. Or you can just kind of slap down everything everywhere. I'm trying to like kind of make it a little nice and a little pretty. Like in the top right is where all the beds and stuff are, and the bottom left is where like mining resources are. The church is at the top left. The farms are in the bottom right, and so forth. So I'm kind of like trying to keep it a little organized. So and then putting decorations around it, like walkways and
Paths and stuff.
paths and just decorative stuff around all of that. And then, deep behind the temple is where the graveyard is going to be.
Yep.
Yeah,
makes
you like what
sense.
I'm doing there? You like what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can kind of, do all that, or just slap everything down wherever you want. But I mean, like you probably want to keep all the farming in one section, and all the sleeping in another, and the cooking in another, stuff like that.
Oh, so that's how you save your follower. You can save him from being sacrificed.
I gotta save him from being sacrificed.
By other
he's mine.
cultists.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, man, Cult of the Lamb, real solid video game. I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm excited to play more. I wish I had been able to play enough to give a full review or whatever, but the game came out Thursday.
Yeah.
And I've just been busy because I'm moving, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm, I just don't have enough time to play the video games I want to play.
Sometimes you don't.
Sometimes you don't. But definitely, if you were interested in it or if you're thinking about it, absolutely, jump in on it because it's a lot of fun across the board. I do kind of wish the combat was just a little more complex, but it doesn't need to be. It's fine. It's just pretty simple. Good, like play your way type feel to the game. Like it's very accessible. Like you could say games like Hades or Returnal, like they're kind of tough. Like and those might, scare you off, especially because I know there are people who don't like roguelites because they don't like the feeling of losing progress.
Yeah.
When you're out in the field and you get killed, you just like lose half of the resources that you would have, brought if you completed that section. Which I think is a good counterbalance. And then, they do a lot of like smaller stuff. There's a difficulty setting. I'm playing on hard. It doesn't feel that hard, so I definitely recommend playing on hard. From there, I'm just having a good time. Like the God boss, I beat him my first try.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, like some of your mini bosses were tougher than you, bro. But okay. And then, the maps are pretty simple in design. I've just unlocked the second area. There's 4 areas. I think there might be a 5th, but right now they're telling me there's 4. And each area is like designed for one of the gods that you're going after, and you have to have a certain number of followers to unlock that path and so forth. I imagine I'm gonna hit a wall eventually where like the game's difficulty is gonna amp up, and I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm not ready for this, so let me actually open up pathway number 3 and start exploring that and getting some upgrades and stuff like that. I'm assuming that's gonna happen. And then there's just a lot more systems and stuff that I'm building into and playing through that I'm excited to continue to explore and so forth. But overall, Cult of the Lamb must play video game this year.
That good?
I think it's fantastic.
Nice. Top list obviously sounds like it's on that list already.
It's top tier. Top tier this year so far. I just need to play more to figure out where. So, ladies and gentlemen, Connor, actually, have you been playing anything this week?
Yes, Chrono Trigger, the one we are always having to play.
Yeah, remember, the first episode of next month, which will be the 5th, September 5th, we're doing our video game book club, the 2 Penny Game Club review of Chrono Trigger. We've done this for The Last of Us Remastered and Resident Evil 4 most recently. Go check out those reviews right now. They're all broken out into separate videos for you, and I shorten them down into YouTube Shorts and so forth. So go check those out. September 5th, we will be doing our review of Chrono Trigger. Fingers crossed in Tavin being able to complete that game, because I'm moving and starting school and shit's going to get real complicated for me.
An extension could be possible.
It could be, maybe we'll do it to the week after or whatever. You never know. We'll figure it out. Figure it out. But it's coming. It's coming. Probably a smaller game after that one, yeah?
Yeah.
I think we should balance them out, and then just do long ones. Eventually, Connor, I'm just free spitting ideas now. We could be playing games in the background, like in the like 3-month games, like that. We like, hey, in December we're gonna be reviewing Final Fantasy VII or something. I don't know, and then just be like, hey, just so you know, be chipping away at that in the background little by little. And then when December comes, it's just an example. It's things that, that's really a communication with us. Is what we need to do is people
plan things out.
Plan things out, exactly. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for your 2 Penny Games Cast episode 108. Remember, you can find us youtube.com/2pennygamescast and mainstream podcast services of your choice. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please keep an eye out on the YouTubes for all the new videos and content that's going out later this week. Subscribe to the TikTok, 2 Penny Games. We really appreciate the support out there. And until next time, have a great time. And Connor, say goodbye to the people.